Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Man and Machine, episode 153. Here with the PeakBot co-founders, I am Dillon, joined by my co-founder and co-host Ben. How are you, Ben?
Oh man, I'm pulling a Thomas right now, being in this weird green. I haven't been in my office for 2 weeks now at this point, so I'm a mess this morning.
I was going to say,
change some colors up here.
It's changing live. This feels like Willy Wonka. Violet, you're turning violet. And if you were blue, I would start singing that song, but I forget exactly how it goes off the top of my head. Anyway, all right, so you're back. We're good. Anyway, we got a great show for everybody today. We will be covering a ton of different things. Of course, we'll do stocks in real life. We will be trying to figure out a trade idea there on the stock in real life, not financial advice. We're going to have a little bit of a PSA, a little public service announcement for the PeakBot universe and those retail traders opting to utilize PeakBot's automated strategies, and about making sure you're properly diversified. Okay, we're going to get into this, but you never want to be fully all eggs in one basket on one strategy or one stock. Again, not financial advice. I'm going to be annoying about that. But the point is, we're going to talk about that. We've had some bots that are not performing well in this market. We've had some bots that are built for this market, and some in the middle. So trading everything at once is always, well, that's generalized pretty broadly there, but being as diversified as possible is a big deal. So we're going to talk about that and more today. We'll take a recap of last week, and we'll look ahead as well. So Ben, do we want to get started? Oh, PeakBot service announcement.
I like that. I like that better.
A PBSA. Nice. Good to see you, Doug. Ben, let's get into it. Why don't we go stocks in real life and go from there unless you think otherwise?
Let's do it. So stocks in real life. Today we are covering the ticker EA, Electronic Arts. This goes back to the childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen that video on TikTok of the guy who's the voice behind the EA Sports? It's in the game.
Yes, and it's incredible. It's incredible. That probably surfaced, God, I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago now, which is crazy if I had to guess. But yeah, I was gonna say me and you both needed to give it our best effort. That's probably maybe today's kids don't know it, but that's the tagline, like the most memeable viral tagline of anything that I knew for a very long time. EA Sports, it's in the game. That was pretty good.
Right. EA Sports, it's in the game.
That's good. I did not know it stood for Electronic Arts this whole time, but I guess that makes sense.
They have other video games that aren't sports.
Yeah, that's true. Forget about that.
Did you play that game? It was called Triple Play. It was a baseball game.
Yeah. On
the computer, the home run derby and that's all I did as like a 9-year-old.
Triple Play 2001. It made its way to PlayStation as well, but I do remember it on the PC. Yeah, wow, I'm looking at it. What's this guy from the Diamondbacks who beat the Yankees? What was his name? In 2000?
Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah, Luis Gonzalez is on the cover in 2002. Okay, so EA, Electronic Arts. I can't even say EA without saying sports after it. It kind of feels weird.
Well, they have EA Entertainment as well.
Okay, they've got a ton out there, I'm sure. All right, so then I'm going to do our favorite game of can we guess when they IPO'd. I'm going to get that ready for us. And then do you have any guesses? And then, of course, we can take a look at the chart and a few other things.
Man, when did EA go public? I'm going to guess early 2000s, maybe .com boom.
All right. So I think you'll be happy to learn that they beat the .com boom by a good margin, 1990.
Oh, okay. Cool. Wow.
That's about right when their games were getting big, I'd say. very early on in the 90s, mid 90s is when all these video games started popping up, right? So yeah, March 26, 1990, Electronic Arts went public. So okay, that's a good one. I'm wondering, like, if we could play this game. We don't have the time, but how many EA Sports games are in my house right now and yours combined? It'd be a sad low number, I think. I've gotten rid of a lot of my old video games, but
I don't
here-
think I have video
Not
games
one.
in my house.
Not
Actually, I
one.
have Mario Golf. I have Mario Golf in my house.
Okay, right. So Ben, let's zoom in on this here. Ben's got the chart up. How long of a period are we looking at? A couple years here? Because
This is here. Let me pull up a year here.
year
So
to
we
date.
got a year on screen. We are a little choppy on the chart,
Yeah.
but overall, it doesn't look terrible. I'm not sure how I would personally play a chart that looks like this.
Well,
Unless we started in February, right? Then you just ride the wave all the way up. What is that? A nice 30% gain since February. That's not too bad. I wanted to go back and look at, let's see, the 1 month chart all the way back to when they IPO'd. See how much value they've increased since then. So I'm assuming this is all adjusting for split. So opened around 50 cents. Now we're at a solid 160, almost 170. Going to hit all-time highs. Are we going to hit all-time highs today at 170?
close.
I think we are.
Yeah, it looks like maybe it touched this back in 2024, end of 24 maybe. But yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, we didn't quite touch 170. The high was 168.50. Pre-market were 169.64. So these are all-time highs for EA Sports.
Okay. Now, I had like the last 5 years up on the chart. I try to think, well, what happened to them in COVID, first of all, right? So you would imagine everybody's inside. I'm not saying that they're only video games, but electronics in general, okay, I think took a spike. So yeah, they rallied in COVID just like most. And then they did come back down to earth a little bit, maybe corrected about half the way back to where they were prior to COVID. And then honestly, since they've kind of leveled out, Ben, I'm seeing here like maybe January of 21 all the way through to now. Like it's been pretty range bound until like it struggled to break like that 145, 150 mark until just this last few months. I mean, it spiked through and came down pretty hard. I'm bullish on EA right now. Let me look at the technicals.
I don't know if I'm looking at every major run up we've had, it's usually followed by a major pullback.
Yeah, it's true.
So maybe now's the time to start selling calls on EA.
All right, I'm going to look at some analyst ratings here. We're seeing more of a strong a hold, more of a buy. Nobody's saying sell. Yeah, it's just been screaming since August, dude. Just absolutely screaming. I don't know what to do with this. This is hard to kind of judge here. You pulling up any chains? And by the way, do we not have any music right now? Oh,
I just turned this on.
Thank God.
We're off our game, and we took Friday off. Everything's falling apart.
Yeah, listen, business is growing. Just get the live show starts to catch up on you. How does Howard Stern or somebody who's been on air for this long do it every day? All right. So Ben, I got to tell you, I want to look at the daily bars here. Yeah, you're kind of right, man. Like it could be coming back down and correcting. It is reaching. How's the market looking, by the way, generally? We up? Futures up?
Let me pull up my other screen. Futures are, just a little bit.
Okay.
Barely. We're pretty flat over the weekend, which kind of nice to see for once.
Yeah, it is. So Ben, are we trying to put together a trade idea here on EA?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So I said I'm bullish on it, but after looking at this again, I mean, it is obviously in a bullish trend, but the fact that it's all-time highs is kind of scaring me a little bit. We saw this in, October, November last year, and then the speed at which it went up, it came down just as fast, and it really plummeted. So I don't know, man. What are you looking at?
I've got the chain pulled up. I'm on my Tradier account, taking a look at what a call credit spread might look like. EA, if I'm not mistaken, is on the trend spread and wheel watch list.
You know what? Let me pull it up.
But I think because of the filters that we have on it, it rarely shows itself.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, not on there. Well, we'll wait for the market to open and get some fresh data, but yeah, not on there now.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to sell a call credit spread at the 170 strike, basically saying, hey, you're going to hit your all-time high, but you're going to come back down. I don't know if I would do it for this week. I might give it a couple weeks to come back down. So let's change this expiration. So we've got 2 weeks. So that's $250 at risk. Midpoint price is at 85 cents, so $85 in credit. That's about a little over a 30% return. Total risk of 70%-ish. Rough numbers.
I'm going to pull up my chart quickly because this is all I'm looking at, and maybe a reason to like what you've got going on here. The last time this happened was right here, as we were just talking about, right? So we can see from end of October last year through, call it the end of November, about 3 weeks, just absolutely screamed from 145 up to 168-ish. Little bit of a dip back up, and then it fell just as fast. And then, Ben, this looks like a bad earnings report or something here.
Yeah, something bad.
Something really bad overnight. Huge drop from 142 down to 117 overnight, and then it's been climbing back from there. What would you call this? Looking at this, Ben, is this a bullish? What pattern are we forming here?
It just looks like we're in a bullish channel. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
like a flag or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at what happened here, I mean, who knows, obviously, but all right. Well, not financial advice, but if you like what you're seeing here, maybe an opportunity. I'll get Ben's screen back up. Maybe an opportunity to take advantage of EA. I wonder if they have any new games out. EA Sports, new games. So they run the whole FIFA empire as well, which is like insane. And I don't think we think about it here as much in the States because soccer is not as huge as it is in the rest of the planet. And they're also back with NCAA football. Which
they
was
are.
like very long awaited. Like college football 26 is coming out. It's already out. Oh, and they have the F1 game as well. Okay, they're all over the place. I think that's good on EA. Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Right. So why don't we do this? Let's get into just a quick. We got a ton of people joining the show. Let's get into a quick, we'll call it a public service announcement, just to discuss the nature of our bots and their results over the last month. Everybody knows that this has kind of been a really tricky market to trade in. A lot of fluctuation and intraday volatility, and it's just been tricky. So what we'll do is, Ben, I'm actually going to pull up our results first, and then we can go into everything else. So pardon me, I'm going to pull this up. All right, so couple things. King Condor, okay? This was our hottest bot for a few months, okay, since March, all right? And it had an ugly July, all All right. So we saw about a 10% drawdown. Okay. This is on a 10K preset budget, although the trade is actually only utilizing $1,000. It's $10 spread on SPX. It's an Iron Condor, 1 DTE. So you can see here, July wasn't very fun. August is not off to a great start either. Okay, so we're seeing a drawdown close to, from the end of June, close to about 20%. Okay, it's the largest drawdown we've had both in back tests and live trading for this strategy, a neutral range bound strategy, which it's been nothing but the opposite of that as of late. But anyway, the point is, if you're a PeakBot subscriber and you're only loading up on King Condor, you're not happy right now and you're hurting yourself, and you need to be further diversified, in my opinion, not financial advice. I'm speaking to what I would do and what I am doing. Okay. So although tough July and a tough start to August for King Condor, here's where it gets good. A lot of green here from our Shorbo strategy. It's an opening range breakout strategy, 0 DTE, SPX, directional spread, okay, with a built-in hedge. So here's July. All right, remember on King Condor, we lost about 950. In July, on the same 10K preset budget for Shorbo, we made 7%, okay, 7.1. So net between those two is about a $200 dip. Okay. And August, I'm going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. This is, we're hot. The Shorbo is hot, and there's no denying whether I say it or not. It's hot. Are we entering are we qualified to enter today?
Qualifications are there from an economic perspective, but from a price action perspective, we still have to wait and see.
No, that's right. Okay. So we'll have to see what the market gives us this morning. But all that to say, it's up 8.6%. All right, $860 in August in 6 trades. Okay, so Shorbo's hot right now and has made up for almost entirely, if not completely now, the losses that King Condor took in July. Then we have BenBot, which has been our trusty steed over the last, since March. Again, I always go back to the beginning here. This is not back test. This is live trades. Okay. Daily covered call strategy on IWM. All right. So 4.1%. And this is on 25K. You're buying 100 shares of IWM and selling a call against it. All right. So trades just about every day. There is entry criteria. About 1 day a month, it won't trade. All right. If IWM gapped up overnight, X%. So 3.3, almost 3.4 in April, 6% in June, May, 1.5 in June. July, first little skid. End of July sucked for that daily covered call strategy. There was not much you can do. We prevented a lot of larger losses. I remember this $33 loss coming in. This $10 loss could have been way worse. Something more like what happened on
the end of July was just killer. We were
profitable until the last day.
We were. It's really unfortunate, but yeah.
And here's August. Net right now, positive, up $64. Again, a tricky end to the week last week for, daily covered call on IWM. But ultimately, this is what we've been building our portfolios around. This is, I think now it's bringing in about an average of 2.5, 2.6% a month.
Yeah, we'll get better annual numbers the longer we let this thing play out. There are some adjustments that I think could be made on entries, just based on the price action that we've been seeing. A couple months ago, it was interesting because even though the market was dipping down and then kind of flattened out a little bit, the overnight moves, it was more down than up. Now the overnight moves are more up than down. And there's definitely a correlation to this strategy. Just got to figure out the numbers and figure out what's going to tip us off, what's going to give us that edge, so we know where and when to place these entries.
Yep. And we're always constantly we're constantly monitoring new market conditions to see if adjustments need to be made on our strategies. We said this last week. We don't rush into the changes because you don't always want to be changing your strategy. Okay. Just because something's not going your way for a month. But anyway, we wanted to put this out. Look, if you're only trading King Condor, you haven't had a fun month, 5-6 weeks. If you're trading all of our bots, you're happy right now because this is a very tricky market. And right now, you're probably break even since the end of June. If you're trading all three of our next generation strategies, not to mention the wheel, trend spread, iron condor, if you're having any action there, there's certainly success to be had there as well. Just a little more involvement. But anyway, since the end of June, King Condor down about $2,000. Shorebo's up to $2,000 or more at this point. BenBot's been collecting about 2.5% a month. So if you're running all three since the last week of June, you're just about break even right now. If you're just
survive July.
That's all we're trying to do. And that's the power of diversification. All right, let's zoom out. Not every bot's going to win every trade or every month. We know that over back tests and live trades and endless adjustments, that these are quality strategies over time. So we just ask that, let's not live or die on one trade. Let's zoom out a little bit and continue to be diversified. PeakBot's going to continue to release more strategies under the same PeakBot Pro bundle. So if you have any questions on how to trade smarter or, what's giving my portfolio the best chance to win right now, not to mention, guys, our partners as well, right, Ben? We were talking about this. I'm live on JR28 copy trading, Jovan's option buying trades, and It's keeping me steady. And, I'm very diversified now. I'm in Tesla and TLT and Apple, and I got calls on here and calls on here. So, yeah, it's been going well. So that's what I wanted to get into. Now that you guys are all excited about the Shorebo strategy and the results that it's been given, why don't we head on over into the bot shop and talk a little bit more about how it's been built and go from there. Does that sound good, Ben?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's change the music up a little bit too.
Yeah, let's. I'm going to have some of my coffee.
We've been playing into space this whole time.
Let's feed some ducks or something, man.
I like lo-fi. Let's go lo-fi.
All
right, here we go.
This is good.
All right, this is week 2 of the bot shop where we are covering the Shorebo strategy, which is, like Dillon said, it is hot right now. It's so hot that I'm kind of afraid to touch it. I in my head, I'm just like, all right, when is this crazy streak going to end? And I don't know if I want to be a part of it. But it is.
It's hot.
We have a question come in. This is a good question. Whose copy trading are you doing? Asking us personally what we're doing. I'm on JR28.
Yeah, so I'll put the banner up, Ben, really quick. So it's jr28.peakbot.com. This is Jovan, trader publicly in his community for over 6 years now. Fantastic trader, fantastic results. Still a very new partnership. We just launched it a few weeks ago, but again, I'm liking what I'm seeing right now out of him, and as are our partners and our traders. So JR28, and if that didn't answer your question, you'll let us know.
Yeah, I'm copy trading him, and I'm also doing Terry's tips on my retirement account, which is, I'll call it a copy trade. It's a newsletter trader, but it's a copy trader essentially.
He's had a recovery over the last few months. I haven't checked in on it this week, but I will take a closer look. But yeah, so fantastic. Let's get into Shorebo. What are we covering this week?
So this week is week 2, and we are covering reversals. So Shorebo does have some reversal entries, and Dillon, maybe you could pull up the chart in the background because I don't have a chart prepared to show that reversal example.
I'll pull it up.
So we took a look at many different variations of this strategy when we were building it. And some of the variations included no reversal. Some of the variations included an anytime reversal. So at any point in the day, we could reverse and get into our reversal position. So let's go through the pros and cons of each, and then we could pull up the backtest charts and see how that gets affected based on these changes.
Really quick, do we think it would be better for the audience to get a visual of what the reversal is before we get into this? Like,
if you've got it up and you're ready to rock and roll on it, do it.
It's from the slides that I've been working on, so I'm like really
nice. I'll let you cover it then.
Okay. All right. So we'll get into, and we've been covering the Shorebo strategy. Okay. We're taking our opening range. Sorry, I thought it was on screen. our opening range is forming, okay, in the first 15 minutes here. So you can see the top of the orb, bottom of the orb with these blue lines. All right. So we're then looking to enter at the close of this bar here, 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Okay, 15-minute bar. If we break orb, we're going to place a trade. All right. So you can see we broke south of orb here, meaning at 10 o'clock, we took a bearish call spread, $5 spread. All right. And then if we see a reversal, aka a close up in the other direction of orb. So in this scenario, we were initially bearish below, and then we see a closed candle, 15-minute candle above orb before noon. That's important. If it's afternoon, we're not Eastern, we're not intervening. The bot will not enter its reversal. But if it is reversing and breaks orb fully before noon, it will, as it did here, okay, at 10:45, it will then enter a bullish put spread, okay, a hedge, essentially understanding, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong here, if we get to a point where we're reversing the trade, okay, and this one happened pretty quickly within 45 minutes, you're most likely going to lose the trade that day, right? Because your initial credit spread and what you're going to lose on that isn't going to necessarily weigh as, it's going to weigh more than whatever additional premium you might have collected later in the day. Correct, Ben? So most of the times on a reversal, if not every time, based on the scenario, you're going to end up losing the trade that day, but your loss gets limited. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. It's a hedge of a trade. We know that our call side's probably going to get blown out. Let's at least enter a put spread, collect more premium, minimize the loss, minimize the risk. So that's a visual. And you can see this took a $200 loss that day, but it could have been a lot worse. This day finished very bullish if we had not entered a reversal. Would have been more like a $500 loss because it's $5 spread and would have just been blown out.
Now the reversal does, I will mention this, it does enable a scenario where you can win on both spreads, actually.
Okay.
And those are big winner days. And that would be in the case where the call credit spread is higher than the put credit spread, forming a condor. So we would call that an intraday condor that was formed. And there's potential if SPX finishes between those two sold strike prices, like it would in an iron condor, we could win both sides. But Dillon, you're totally right. A majority of the time, it's going to form an iron fly, which is going to sell the same strike price as the opposing spread. And we're just going to collect more premium, and we're going to, minimize our losses for that day. Still possible to win. The closer SPX expires to the body of that iron fly, the more money we'll be able to make. And that is a totally valid and potential scenario as well.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I'll pull this down.
Awesome.
Let's get into
So we ran a couple of different tests. What if we didn't have any reversals? And this was a little bit of a harder one to display, but we'll go through it in a minute. So what's great about not having a reversal? Well, it makes the strategy really easy to run. And there's going to be fewer orders, fewer commissions to pay. And you get to really see how that breakout indicator is working for you, right? Because you're not totally reliant, or you're not rather diminishing your losses from and during a reversal. But you don't get that protection of that reversal. You don't get to diminish your losses. And that just means you're going to lose more on days that you lose. So we didn't love the results that we saw when we didn't have a reversal. If we chose to stick with a put credit spread or a call credit spread as soon as that entered at the beginning of the day. So we added in the early day reversal, and this is what is currently live at the moment. And as Dillon said, before 12 p.m. Eastern, and that's really just for the put side. For the call side, it's 11 a.m. Eastern. The criteria to enter is a little bit more strict on the call side, which we'll cover in subsequent weeks, and for good reason. So with the early day reversal, again, we're going to set up that opposing credit spread if orb reverse, or if price reverses through the other side of orb. That's going to help us on days that there's crazy price action, news hits, the market flips. We could be having a great day. All of a sudden we tank. We could be tanking. All of a sudden have a great day. This is going to help us limit losses on those particular days. Now, the cons of this strategy are, and we'll see if they actually are cons or not, but we might be skipping, by limiting to early day, we might be skipping valid reversals that happen later on in the day. We do have a VIX guardrail on for the call side here, so we might miss out on a reversal as well, potentially for good reason, and we'll figure that out in the coming weeks. And it does make the strategy a little bit more, if you're trading it manually, it's a little bit more time intensive to continue to watch through 12 o'clock. If you get your initial entry, you got to watch for the reversal entry. We let our bots do it for us, but if you're trading this manually, you got to kind of keep an eye on things. And then moving into the anytime reversal, so you could reverse in the morning, in the afternoon, doesn't matter. It keeps that double win scenario in play all day, right? And that double win scenario, it happens rarely, but when it happens, it's nice. You get two premiums, you collect two different premiums, and you earn a bit more. It's I will say, during the testing of having an anytime reversal, the premium later on in the day gets really, really tiny, and your strike price, it's going to stay that $10 out because that's how we set it. But the premium gets really, really small to where it kind of doesn't even feel like it's worth it. And we'll take a look at what the chart looks like. We're increasing our exposure to false reversals and chop later on in the day, which from testing seems to happen more often than early in the morning. So why don't we take a look at what the results are, comparing these three different scenarios, keeping in mind that the Shorbo bot currently has the early reversal built into it. So this is what our base looks like, right? This is the early reversal built into Shorbo. We've got both the call credit spread and the put credit spread in play. And this is the curve that we see. So the numbers, again, to keep in mind are this P&L, 18,000, compound annual growth rate of 39%, and max drawdown of 14%. And then this yellow line is our back test. And this green line is SPX over the last 3 years, since May 16th, 2022. So if we wanted to look at no reversals on the put side, not a terrible curve here. I don't hate it. I don't love the drawdown. You know, we've got a solid compound annual growth rate, less P&L, solid CAGR, higher drawdown. There are a few periods where we're dropping from, like, this goes from like $12,000 down to $8,000. So that's, you know, you're losing $4,000 in the course of a couple of weeks there, maybe a month or so. And you see, you know, the blips in this graph might seem inconsequential, but the higher you get up, you know, the more dollar value there is, and the further the dips are, the more you're losing. You know, you could go on some crazy runs. Like here we go from 4,000 to, it looks like $7,000. So you pick up $3,000. It's a little too choppy for my liking. Let's take a look at the call side. If we were just trading calls with no reversals, still see a little chop. Nice P&L, still nice compound annual growth rate. Again, don't love that drawdown, right? And the reason why the reversal part of the reversal version of the strategy has a lower drawdown is because on losing days, the other side's going to come kick in, and it's going to help, and it's going to collect some more premium. So it's going to help that overall P&L. Again, we've got some nasty dips here, and longer periods of time. Like if I look at the beginning of this strategy here, I'm trying to zoom in, it's not going to work. We go from $6,000 all the way down to like 4,000, and that dip takes about 2 months from here to here, and then it takes about another 2 months to get back to that 6,000. So there was a period of, you know, 4 months there where things did not look good for this strategy. But when you zoom out, you can see that overall we're headed in generally the right direction. But we definitely want to have those reversals to avoid larger drawdowns. Now, when we look at the anytime reversal, this chart is just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with this test right here. I mean, the P&L has dropped significantly. The compound annual growth rate has dropped significantly. The drawdown has doubled from our baseline version. And as we can see, I mean, we're neck and neck with SPX. Might as well just buy the market at that point.
Yep.
And not pay all these fees on trading SPX, which, by the way, fees are built into these back tests. So we are considering that. So I think the answer is clear. I mean, we've got our Shorbo strategy, and for all of the reasons we just mentioned, we do have reversals, but they're limited to the early morning reversals, because our theory is that the market kind of gets itself set up in the morning, and then later in the afternoon, could there be a reversal? Yes. But as we can see, more times than not, we tend to drift in the direction of our position's favor, and we stack on wins as a result of that. We've definitely been seeing those wins stack on in August.
Yeah, been a fun few weeks for sure, Bo. This strategy kind of, I don't want to say we came quickly, right? We were like, okay, this is working. Let's make our adaptations to this. Let's have the reversal in place, $5 spreads. And look, it's had maybe 1 red month, 2 red months since its launch. And it's really only been available to the public. What, Ben? We started at maybe mid-July, beginning of July.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long, but again, on 1 unit, which you have the ability on Shorbo with PeakBot Pro to trade 2 units. Okay. So if it made $700 in July, if you were running 2 units, you're talking $1,400. All right. Already in August, if you're running 2 units, you're up $1,700 which is just crazy. About an 8.5% return already in August. So if you want more details on the Shorbo strategy, head on over to our website, peakbot.com, click on the bots tab, and you'll see all your info available there. Okay. Fully transparent about everything. So, Ben, how do we put a bow on this? We got about 20 minutes till the market opens. I have alarms going off every 5 minutes. I don't know if you guys could hear that.
I'm wondering what you're late for.
Yeah. I have to. We got a bunch of onboarding calls today and customer calls, and I got to make sure I text them to make sure they show up. You know what I mean? A lot of no shows. So anyway, we are good to go here. We covered EA, Electronic Arts, and our favorite video games. Ben, were you ever big on Madden? You weren't ever super huge, were you?
When I was younger, yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like you would show up to our Madden tournaments at our friend's house and then kick everyone's ass. Or maybe there was always someone who I wasn't expecting to be great at the game and they were good. Maybe
I don't know if that was me. I was pretty good at it, but
okay.
I didn't play often.
I was terrible. I was really bad at video games.
I'll tell you what, I was good at NBA 2K.
Okay.
That was my thing.
Who was your team? Did you have like a hack? Was there a certain, because there's always a certain team or a certain player
it wasn't a team, it was a move. If you double clicked the O button near the basket, you would pull a spin move and just lay it up every single time.
Just money every time.
Every time.
Can't defend it. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for everybody who tuned in today. We will be back. And by the way, if you're wondering where Mark is, Mark's going to join us monthly for his recaps for his clients and how the market's been performing with his mix of strategies, or how his portfolio has been performing rather. So he'll definitely be joining us, but we will be taking this and utilizing it as kind of a recap on the last week moving forward. Ben, we don't have to spend too much time. Any economic events we should know about this week, though?
We've got core inflation rates reporting tomorrow. I think the China tariff deadline is tonight/tomorrow.
Oh boy.
So bots will be off for that. Looking ahead into Wednesday, nothing much going on. We've got PPI on Thursday. Probably won't be shutting the bots off for that. Going to keep Calm and Condor on. Then we got Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report on Friday. So we got a good amount going on this week. Some bots will be off. Some bots will be powering through. All the more reason to stay up to date on that inactivity schedule on app.peakbot.com. Age of Empires was a phenomenal game as well.
There's a bit of a culty following behind that game, I believe. I've never played it. Amazing. Doug, thank you for tuning in. As the same for everybody else. We will be back Friday for the Automation Station with Ben and I to talk about how things went this week and how those economic events and the volatility index impacted our bots for better or for worse. So thanks so much. And as always, we'll see you at the peak. Take care, everybody.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.